Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Tammy's a Hot Mess in the Hot Tub. If you recall, I had another video where I talked about imposter syndrome in the hot tub. It was very impromptu, it got really dark, I got really emotional, but I did get a lot of things off my heart, which basically got me to thinking about video diary. Back in 2020, everything was shut down, and my husband and I had the intention to move my mom in with us, and she did that. She wasn't too bad at the time, but she really was kind of a little bit struggling living on her own, and I think all of us just really thought it was going to be good for her to just kind of be with somebody occasionally. She was fully able to take care of herself. She was 86 at that time, and she was pretty good. Over the course of the couple years and even to now, today, I think the thing I struggle with the most is just the ongoing changes that happens when somebody has a cognition issue, a brain issue, dementia, Alzheimer's, whatever it may be, even if it's old age. I know I struggle with my memory a lot. And this disease has me terrified. I have a front row seat to watching my mom decline every day. Some days are better than others. Some days she's very witty and together, and she cracks jokes, and she teases, and she giggles, and she just has fun, and she's very loving and hugging, and she's just my mom. That's the mom I grew up with. And then there's days, and my mom doesn't get angry, but she's been getting very angry lately. In my face at times. And that's what I'm struggling with the most, is the inconsistency of the disease and what I'm dealing with on a daily basis. I almost feel like I can deal with it a little bit better if it's the same and it doesn't change, but it's the roller coaster of going up and down constantly that is stressful, because I have to constantly then adjust my moods accordingly. Let me give you an example. I come home from work, I was having a great day at work, saw all my people, had all my notes, feeling good. I want to come home and just relax, watch some Netflix or read or take my dogs out in the backyard to play. And the transition that I have from work to home, I have probably 1,000 different thoughts, but it's all encompassing one thing, and that's what kind of mom am I going to have when I get home. So I pull in the driveway very slowly, I take deep breaths, pull into the garage, and I just take a minute most days to kind of mentally check myself and mentally prepare myself, so that way I'm not angry and short if I get a side of mom I'm not comfortable with. Some days it's great, some days she's my mom. She's loving and caring and adoring and freaking adorable, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I love that she's living with me, and I love that I get this time of my life with her. But with that being said, there are some days that's really a challenge, and I wonder if I'm able or capable to continue to do this. I'll come up the stairs, again taking deep breaths as I do, and it's kind of like walking on eggshells. I use that phrase a lot in therapy. A lot of people use it with me in therapy. Probably some of you has been in some difficult relationships where you've had to walk on eggshells, so you probably get where I'm going with this. But I kind of hold my breath, and I just like, hey mom, I'm home. Some days she greets me happy, and she's my mom. Other days she's in tears, she's crying about not being able to work the TV, or not being able to remember how to use her phone, or forgetting where she put her cane, or forgetting who I am, and she's uncomfortable, and so she goes back into her room and she doesn't say anything. When I had her move in with me, it was because I really wanted her here, and I still do. But I don't know if anybody ever is really prepared for all the different emotions that you personally go through. There's hers, and that's one thing, and I can't control that, right? We can only control what's within us. I can control my reactions. I can control my behaviors. I can control my responses for the most part. But it's very difficult. I get angry back sometimes, and that's not like me. I get short. Sometimes I want to get back in my car and leave and go back to work because I need a break. Sometimes I laugh it off. Sometimes I'm mentally there with her and I just distract her and I just understand the disease and I go with what I feel is best. There's days I absolutely do not like myself because of the way I interact with her, and then I have a lot of guilt and shame. I remember as a mom having a lot of guilt and shame. Now as a daughter, I deal with a lot of guilt and shame with my behaviors. I recently took a trip and I drove 1,000 miles there and 1,000 miles back because I felt like I needed the downtime. I work really, really, really close to home. I don't have any downtime with my drive. I don't have any windshield time. What I call windshield time is just prayer time. I like long drives behind the windshield so I can pray and clear my thoughts. And I haven't been having that. So I go strictly from leaving the house, 1 minute drive, work, mental health, clients all day long, leave from work, 1 minute drive, home, not knowing what kind of situation I'm going to be at, go to bed about 10, 11 if I'm lucky, fall asleep immediately if I'm very, very lucky, but that doesn't happen because I have a lot of intrusive, rapid thoughts about how I behaved, how I can do things differently, what can I do to make life easier and more manageable for my mom. You know what intrusive thoughts are like. Pauline and I've had a video about that not too long ago. They're unwanted thoughts for sure. I believe that everything happens for a reason. And I believe that I'm supposed to be here doing this, being a caretaker for my mom. But the days that she is angry and crying, it's really, really difficult. Video diary, that was today. Came home from work, and I have a puppy. She was naughty. My mom was outside sweeping, and I wanted to clean up the mess immediately because the puppy made a mess, and I know how it's going to spin mom out. So I try to do my best to really, really clean up quick to prevent that. And she walked in just as I was grabbing the broom, and she lost it. She started crying and screaming, saying she can't do this anymore, that she wants to be dead, that she wants to be in heaven with my dad and Jesus. That she's just tired. That she's just tired of living and fighting and breathing, and she doesn't know why she's not in heaven. And she just cried in my arms. One thing about this disease is I remember as a little girl crying in her arms. Now she cries in mine. I remember as a little girl reaching up and grabbing her hand to help me get steady on my feet, or to cross the street, or to step down the stairs. And now I do it with her. She used to make my meals. She used to put peanut butter on my bread. She used to do my laundry. And now I do those things for her. She used to remind me to brush my teeth, to say my prayers. And now I'm constantly reminding her to take her meds making sure she drank enough water. Reminding her how to use the phone, because when I'm gone, if she needs it. I try to find TV shows before I leave that she could watch without turning the channel. These are things that I used to do for my kids. This is a really weird phase of my life, you guys. I'm not young. I'm not old. I'm smack dab in the middle of all these life cycles. And it's more difficult than I thought it'd be. I think working in mental health maybe makes it, I don't know, maybe some days makes it easier, some days it makes it harder. Because my heart is really heavy. A lot. Recently we've been having all the shootings and my heart's been heavy because of that, as of everybody else. People come in and talk about it. In addition to the ripple effect of COVID and losing jobs and the price increases and trauma and sex abuse and domestic abuse and lost relationships, and it's just so difficult out there. So I'm really, really glad and really humble that my life isn't too chaotic, but then I'm like kidding myself because my life is pretty chaotic when I come home. Caregiving is very difficult, but also very rewarding. So I'm going to sign off. I think later on, Pauline and I are going to talk about dementia and Alzheimer's in a more educational setting. I know I've been making videos of my mom in hopes of making a series of the decline of the disease and just a tribute to my mom, because she's the world to me. And I owe this to her. I'm able to do it. I don't have young kids at home, so she is able to live with me. I have the space for her to live with me. On most days, I have the mental capacity for her to live with me. But to be honest, I'm struggling. So this is probably the first of many video diaries of me living with my mom with dementia. If you've experienced this, please tell me how you've dealt with it. What has been some tricks and tips, because I'm constantly trying to recreate my mood and myself and my behaviors to be a better person for her and for myself. I feel very blessed that I've been given this opportunity with my mom. I'm very thankful to see sides of her that probably none of my siblings have seen. On the flip side of that is I'm seeing very ugly things that most of them has never seen. Don't get me wrong, I have their support. They are freaking amazing. I have a really big family and everybody has my back. I wouldn't be able to do this without them because they help out all the time. They stop in, they take her to places and appointments, they visit her all the time. I'm very, very blessed with the family that I have. That helps me. That's my life jacket. That's keeping me afloat. But when I had my windshield time, I really needed it. So my advice to you is, if you're a caregiver and you're giving, and you're working in an occupation where you're giving, you got to give to yourself. You have to do self-care. Self-care is the most important thing you have got to do for yourself and everybody else around you. My long drive, was it stressful? Absolutely. Was it fun? Absolutely. I went down to see my son and his family and my grandbabies. And we did some fun stuff together. But that windshield time was the downtime that I needed to regroup. So if you're struggling and suffering right now, take some time, breathe, maybe go for a drive, pray, meditate, reflect, get mad, listen to music, unwind. and be kind to yourself. You gotta be kind to yourself, because this is tough. This is very tough. Anyway, I said this a little bit ago, I'm saying it again. I'm gonna sign off. I do believe this is probably the first of many video diaries of me talking about my mom's dementia and everything in and around that. So we love you, we cherish you. You're definitely a blessing to Pauline and I. We really appreciate you and your help with destigmatizing mental health. If you found this video helpful, please hit that like. If you have some suggestions or advice for me, please put it in the comments, because I need some fresh perspectives. Anyway, once again, be kind to yourself. Bye.